Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Horror 421, the podcast, with your host, your friendly small-town horror author, Charles Campbell. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the frights in this week's episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Horror 421, the podcast. I am your host, small town horror author Charles Campbell. And today is kind of a part two of the podcast that we had with Ryan Sheets a couple weeks ago. He was the director, or he is the director and writer of the movie The Pumpkin Man, which he has released this year during spooky season. And I was fortunate enough to get the lead actress that played Catherine Quinn in the movie. Welcome, Barbara Desa, to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you. Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Yes, you did.
Is it okay? Awesome. And
No one
Ryan,
got that right.
well, Ryan calls you Barbie on the behind the scenes stuff, and he called you that on the podcast. Is that what you prefer?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome, Barbie. Well, for my listening audience, can you kind of give an introduction and kind of tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll get to some Q&A.
Well, I am a new coming actress. This is my first movie I've ever done. I've always wanted to get into acting. It started in high school, and I was just going through Backstage because I finally saved enough money to get a subscription for it. And I saw that Ryan was putting this out, and I auditioned for it, and wow, I got it. So now this I'm very thankful for the role, and that's pretty much a short summary of my background.
Oh, well, that's cool. You were amazing in the movie, and
Thank
there
you.
are no swear filters on here. So if you drop a occasional curse word, no one's going to scream at you. It is a horror podcast, but yeah, I really loved. I thought you brought a lot of energy to the movie, and you're fooling me if this was your first film role because you did such a great job.
Thank
So
you.
kind of tell me how you got into acting, how you, how that bug bit you. What made you want to be an actress or actor, however you want to word it.
Well, growing up, I used to make like tiny little YouTube videos using like dolls and stuff. I'm
Uh-huh.
obsessed with them.
I see that.
So, growing up, I used to do that a lot. I actually made some money off of that.
Nice.
And but at the same time, I never knew that like that was something I wanted to do, continue like acting and making stuff like that. I went through a lot of stuff like I thought I was going to be an ice skater, a karate person, a dentist, a doctor. I went through all of it. My ADHD brain went through everything. And it wasn't until high school where my high school theater teacher, Kevin Van Meter, he gave me that kind of bug. He kind of introduced me to it, and he gave me my first like role in a play,
Right.
and it kind of just went from there. And now he's like a second dad to me, and now everything in my life is just theater.
Well, that's awesome. Now I'm gonna kind of veer a little bit left here. So, are you a horror fan in general? Did you grow up watching horror movies, or did you kind of just grow up watching a little bit of everything and this kind of, you got kind of steered in this direction? What's your horror background? What are you a fan of?
I This is gonna sound so bad.
That's all
I
right.
not a horror person at all. I am a wimp. I get spooked by the tiniest things. Like on set, Ryan had an Annabelle doll, and he used
Yeah.
that to scare me all the time. And I got scared every single time. And like there are some horror films that I like, but I'm not like the biggest person. I'm more of like a Disney person, like animation, the little magic, that kind
Right.
of.
Right. Nice. Well, with that being said, how did you connect with Ryan? He told me a little bit on the podcast, but I want to hear from your perspective. How did you connect with Ryan? And I thought you knocked the lead role of the Pumpkin Man out of the park. So I'm excited to see what else you're going to be in.
Thank
But
you.
oh, you're very welcome. But how did you connect with Ryan? And how did you get this role? It's a pretty cool role.
So I did get a subscription for this thing called Backstage. It's for actors, for directors, for writers, and everything. You just sign up, you pay a monthly premium, and you get to have like all these connections. And I was just scrolling through one day because I'm trying to start my career, and I saw on Backstage that someone was posting for the Pumpkin Man, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, why not? I'll post it. I'll do an audition. I'll send one in. At the time, I didn't have like a video reel or anything because you're supposed to have like a professional video reel if you want to get more roles. But I didn't
Right.
have one. I only had 2 monologues. And I sent that in, and next thing I know, I get a call back. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They gave me a call back. I did that call back, whew, God knows how many times. I did it one time absolutely perfectly. I loved it. I did it. It did not go through. It didn't
Oh,
submit. So I did it one more time, and I'm like, okay, this isn't the take I want, but this is what I've got because it's like 4 in the morning now and I have class in the morning. So I
right.
just have to submit it. So I did. I wasn't expecting anything. And the next thing I know, Ryan texts me through Backstage and he's like, I'd like to offer you the lead role in The Pumpkin Man. I'm like, what? Hello?
Wow. Nice.
So yeah, that's how he kind of connected with me. And afterwards, we went to a Starbucks with a couple friends to meet up and like talk more about the movie.
Well, he said you were very integral in not only as the lead actress, but you actually did a lot of behind the scenes stuff and brought, a lot of people in to the film. Talk about that. How did you pull everyone together, in a big group sense and get everyone motivated to get this movie done? He was like he was singing your praises, like you were pushing it.
Well, I'm because I know how hard it is in like the acting community and in like the tech community to find things and like get things done like if you want to add to your resume. And I
Right.
know a lot of my friends want to do things like my one of someone who I consider a sister, Trinity. She wanted to start getting into like being a PA and being in photography, and now she's an amazing videographer and photographer. um so I'm like, I contacted her. I contacted Ariel, who plays one of my other friends in the movie. I contacted someone I've known since high school, Esteban. Um, and Trinity contacted her other friends. I think it was Matt and another PA. Ashley, my bad. I'm zoning.
That's all right.
um, so I'm like, okay, awesome. Let's do this. It's my first thing. It's a lot of your first things. Let's put all of us together. Let's do it. Let's be great, and like let's show that even though like this is our first time, we know what we're doing. We want to push.
Right.
My brain's kind of going everywhere right now, but
No, no, no. You're telling me exactly what I'm thinking. From watching the movie, you have such a powerful energy, and you know, eh, and I'd like to encapsulate that and put it in my own brain because you're very motivated and you have a lot of energy, and that comes through in the role that you play. Which I enjoyed the film, but I really enjoyed what you brought to the film. So, um, you know, I thought you did a really fine job.
thank
So
you. That means a lot.
this had to be a big deal to you. This is your first movie. This is your first break, if you will, maybe in film. So what was it like that first day on set when you walked on set for the first time? Kind of explain to me what you went through when you walked onto the set for the first time.
I was a nervous wreck. I I'm that kind of person who has so much anxiety, but if I'm around new people, I don't show it. And
Hmm.
at the time, it was like new people, I'm not going to show that. I'm just going to try and be professional. But Ryan and Janae and Ashley, my friend who was also on set, kind of like eased me through it. Like they could tell I was like nervous, but they settled me down. We like cracked some jokes. Because that first night was me in the bedroom with the pumpkin man coming out from the, I don't know if I'm allowed to say spoilers.
Oh well, spoiler alert,
Okay.
people. They all had we had Ryan on last week, and if you haven't picked up the Pumpkin Man, go to screamteamreleasing.com right now. Pick it up. If you haven't seen it, just pause this podcast until you have seen it because we will be discussing some details of the film. With that being said, Barbie, please continue.
Okay. There was when the pumpkin man was like in my bathroom and I was in the bed, that was kind of the first scene we ever shot.
Oh shit.
And mhm, right? I was like, wow, we're going right into this.
Yep.
And we were making jokes because like I was hella nervous. Oh no, you said it's okay for me to
Yeah,
swear.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was really freaking nervous. And so they really eased me into it. After a while it became like, okay, I'm better. There were times that my anxiety flared up again, but mainly they were good at keeping my anxiety at ease. Like they didn't even have to do it, but they did.
Oh, that's awesome. So, it being your first film, what are some of the things you took away from doing this film? What are some of the things that helped you as an actor, develop more than you had been when you walked onto the set? What are some of the things you learned in this role?
I learned because honestly, I'm going to be 100% honest. I feel like I could have everyone's going to say this about any role they do. I feel like I could have done more,
Right.
but I feel like I could have I'm trying to say this the best way I can. I could have been
Yeah.
more natural, and there were times where I was learning it through the process. So there were times where I was more natural, there was times where I was overacting. So I learned to kind of just see it as a real like life situation
Right.
instead of like, oh, I'm just acting, this is this. Nah, I gotta take it, pretend it's actually in my life, and then play it naturally as if it was a real situation. I also learned that sometimes improv can be okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There were times in the movie, and I believe a lot of those moments got caught on the film, that I was improving a lot of those lines, and everyone was cracking up, and I'm like, yes, I make people
Nice.
laugh. That is my
That's
goal.
nice. Well, it looked like a very fun movie to participate in, and the set that you guys have, the sets were amazing. So, talk to me a little bit about the set work and the haunted house you guys worked in. Um, that kind of blew me away, especially for a low budget indie film. You guys had it going on for real. So, tell me about the sets and how you guys put those together.
Well, for some of them, were like their apartment where we found a random park or whatever, and they were really nice. The two places that were my favorite to film, but also I'll tell later. One of my favorite places, we found an Airbnb, and we found two Airbnbs, but one of them I really enjoyed. There was it was like a trailer house,
Okay.
and it was the pumpkin patch scene where we went to Hank's pumpkin patch.
Yep.
That the way everything was set up with all the pumpkins, and like how it just felt like we were like at a field, that was amazing. And Ryan and Janae did most of the work for making that pumpkin patch scene.
Right.
So I'm like, props to them for that. That was awesome. And the fact that it was just like the trailer was nice. And the other one was we filmed a lot of it at Sir Henry's Haunted Trail. And oh my gosh, that was amazing. It was so much fun. They were long hours those days. We filmed things that didn't even get in the movie, and those took us hours to do. But it was so much fun. The sets were so intricate and so detailed. And after
Right.
we finished filming, a bunch of us went to Sir Henry's Haunted Trail when they were actually open, because we filmed it when they were closed.
Right.
And I can't tell you how much it like encapsulates you in like horror. And obviously, again, I'm not a horror person. I was scared out of my mind. I was scared shitless.
Nice.
But that was one of my favorite places to film, and I cannot thank Sir Henry's Haunted Trail enough for letting us do that.
Well, that sounds like an awesome place to go. I've been to a couple of haunted houses in my lifetime. So, is that one you can plug? Tell people to go visit. Where are they
Yes.
located?
They're located in Plant City, Florida. Um, I know even if it's not during like Halloween time, they have like Christmas events. They've had a Valentine's Day event before, which my boyfriend wanted me to go to, and no, not because of them, because of me, because I'm a wimp.
Right.
But that everybody should go there. It is an amazing place. They just started a haunted hayride. They have laser tag. It's so much fun.
Okay, well, I'll definitely put a link to their place if they have a website. I'll put it in the podcast notes below so people can find them. Um, so I know you have to have an interesting story or two from the film. What was your biggest scare that was unexpected? So tell me that first. What scared you the most out of the blue that you didn't see coming?
Something that scared me out of the oof. A lot of things scared me. um Literally up until the end of the movie, the scariest thing for me, like until the end of filming, like 90% of it was Ryan in the Pumpkin Man costume.
Right.
That anytime, even when we were just relaxing, we were like relaxing, hanging out, he was in his costume, and I was like, "Stay 10 feet away from me, go away." That oh god. And what's worse is one time he grabbed grabbed the animal doll in the Pumpkin Man costume, and I'm like, "No, stay away." Mm-mm.
Oh man. Okay. Well, what were some of the challenges you faced as a new actor on the scene of a a pretty decent sized film for the holiday season? What were some of the challenges you faced in facing this role?
Honestly, my main challenge was self-doubt. I sorry, I have a friend who's in the other room and she's shaking her head yes. Um, I really at times I was like, I don't think I can do this. There's a few people on set who have done acting a lot longer than I have, and I'm like, I'll never amount to what like they're doing. But I was like, you're not. Eventually, my friends told me. My friends repeated it to me. And even Ryan and Janae were like, "You're not them. You're yourself. You're an amazing actress. You just have to believe in your skills." And for a long time, I didn't believe that, but I just had to keep pushing myself confidence. That was the main challenge for me. The other challenge was just timing and
Yeah.
not dying.
Well, I'm gonna say you did convey confidence on screen, and all the supporting cast and the other actors were awesome. I loved everyone. Everyone played their role really, really well. But you stood out, so you should pat yourself on the back. You are confident. You should stay that way.
Thank you so much.
So, what do you see on your horizon? What are you looking to do more horror? Are you going to get into some drama? Or are you just looking for anything you can sink your teeth into? I kind of want to know what you have in store for your future. What do you see happening?
I want to just sink my teeth into stuff. I want to just get out there. I'm looking for an agency to start with. I'm currently filming another movie, which is a movie musical. Um, I I would love to do more horror, even though every time I go on set, I'm going to be scared again. But like, I'm just I'm here for the ride. I want to make this my career. I love acting, and I love it. So I'm down for whatever.
Well, that's good. Do you have a do you have a place you see yourself being? It's like a job interview almost. You see yourself being in like 5 years. Where do you want to be in 5 years? That kind of thing.
In 5 years, okay. I'd want to be signed with an agency. Okay. My dream, it might not happen in 5 years, it might not happen in 10 years, but who knows? My dream is to be the first queer Disney princess.
Oh, nice.
And this whole industry is about connections. So maybe I make a connection with someone who's at Disney. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't make it for 20 years. Maybe I never make it. It's what I want to be in 5 years is in that role in following my dreams. But I'm also that other side of my brain is like, you know,
Well, I have an interesting question for you. Just because of the quality in your voice. Have you thought of doing any voice acting, or have you done any voice acting? Because I could see you in an animated feature somewhere for someone, and that's not a knock; that's a compliment.
no, no, no.
Um,
I take that as a compliment.
yeah, yeah,
At first, before I wanted to become like an actress, I wanted to be a voice actress because I'm on TikTok. I have like 200,000 followers.
nice.
I made a TikTok, and someone in the comments was like, "You sound exactly like Tara Strong," and I'm like, no way you said that to me. No way. All right, drop everything, forget it, changing my major. I'm doing voice acting, and now I want to be in so many animated things. It's not even funny.
Well, you've got yeah, you've got the voice for it, and I could, depending on which direction you want to go in your career, and a lot of actors, actresses, they do all kinds of things. They do anything they can do to start. Um, I I could hear your voice in a commercial, anything. I could hear you on the radio. You have such a unique voice that lends itself well to listeners.
Thank you.
I'm sure my listeners are going to think that you sound a lot better than I do on the microphone. I'm
No.
from I'm from North Augusta, South Carolina, and I got that Southern twang. So,
But that's what makes you special. You've got that southern twang. That's awesome.
well, that's right. So, as far as movies and books and things like that, what do you gravitate towards in your free time? What do you listen to? What do you watch? It doesn't have to specifically be horror. Just what are some things that inspire you?
Ugh, that's a lot. There's a lot of things I'm inspired by.
Well, let's go
This
through a
was
few of them.
the first one's gonna be cheesy, my family and my friends.
Well, there you go.
But there's like I'm again, I said I'm like an animated person, so like Miraculous Ladybug, SpongeBob, a bunch of those old 90s shows like The Emperor's New Groove,
Oh, my
Emperor's New
daughter
School.
loves SpongeBob. She's 28, and she grew up watching SpongeBob and all the Disney movies. But anyway, keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I love SpongeBob. I'm planning on getting a SpongeBob tattoo soon.
Nice.
I'm also a big graphic novel person. I have a whole shelf of like books, graphic novels in my room that I still have to read. But whenever I read them, I'm always like imagining how they would be said in my brain, and I'm like, I can act that out. And sometimes I do by myself.
Nice. Nice.
um,
Well, yeah, go keep going. I'm sorry.
oh no. I lost my
Oh,
train of
no,
thought.
no. I was thinking when you say graphic novels, I grew up, a comic kid, so I collected a lot of comics. But my stuff was, more of the superhero stuff. So I was a Marvel guy. I love Spider Man. Read a bunch of those types of graphic novels. I was just going to follow it up with what type of graphic novels do you read? There's thousands of different kinds out there. Just interested.
I read okay. I love one of my favorites is Heartstopper. It used to be a webtoon, but it's like now like its own book graphic novel. I also read like a lot of manga.
Hmm.
Um, Oshinoko, My Hero Academia. I'm starting Demon Slayer. Um, and sometimes I read like Marvel comics because I love Marvel. I love Marvel. Um, and I sometimes find like these like rare Star Wars mangas, and I'm like, what? You guys are in book form? Let me at it.
Nice. Oh man. So you're a big sci-fi fan? Do you like sci-fi films and books?
Yes? That sounded like a question. Um, yes. It just I love it, but for some reason I just don't have a lot of it to go off of. Like I don't have a
Right.
lot that I can name off the top of my head. Like first thing, Star Wars, 100% love. The original trilogy is the best. What? Who said
That's right. I agree with you. I
that?
agree with you.
Because some people say the first three is the best. I'm like, what? What? Hello? Sorry, we're not gonna get into that debate. That's a
4, 5, 6 are the best.
yes. Thank you.
Yes, I
I
agree.
like you. um, but like besides that, I can't really name any others off the top of my head. But like if you told me, I'd be like, yes, I love that movie. Or I love that show. But off the top of my head, I can't name anything
Well,
sci-fi.
I love the blending of sci-fi and horror. So for me, one of the biggest of all time is the original Alien film. So I don't know if you've ever seen the original, the
I
movie
haven't seen the
Alien,
original.
but you need to go watch it. And there's a director's cut out there that's even better than the original. So it gives you claustrophobia, it gives you creepiness. There's only one alien on the ship. There's not a whole shit ton of them. So you got to watch your step. The only issue I ever had with that movie is how that little bastard grows so fast. Because when you first see him, he's this big, and then in like 2 hours, he's freaking size of a bear. So what did he eat? He didn't, how did he get that big? But I'll, I'll,
I'm gonna
I'll
watch that during the day because I'm scared of watching horror movies at night.
well, Sigourney Weaver is awesome, and I don't know how many
Sigourney
films you've
Weaver's
seen
in
her
it?
in. Oh yeah, she's the lead. She's Ripley. Yeah. Yep, she's the lead, and she's been in several, a lot of the Alien movies. So Aliens. So that's the sequel to Alien. She was amazing in that. Now in Aliens, you get to fight a shit ton of aliens, and you have space marines and all kinds of cool stuff happening. So yeah, you need to go check that out.
Never mind, I'll watch it tonight then.
Well, yeah, it's the original Alien is for me is probably the most um, is the best. Aliens is a close second, but Alien has that horror element and has that claustrophobic element and has that where is it kind of thing where you're like not sure. So a first watch will be a good watch if you've never seen it. I know where all the things are now, so it's not as effective anymore, but I still love that movie. Anyway, shout out to Sigourney Weaver and Alien.
I mean, it sounds awesome. I'm excited to watch it now.
Yeah, well, check it out. Check it out. Um, so let's get back to the Pumpkin Man a little bit. What was the most fun you had on the set? What are some of the things that you really look forward to every day?
Whenever me, Matt, Stephanie, and Ariel were on set together, those were the best days because we all got along very easily. We all got along very well. And anytime we were all together, I think my computer's about to die.
Oh no!
I think I should get a charger. In my bag, in my room. I'm.
All right, we're back. Barbie got her charger, so we're good. So back to the question, and you already answered most of it, but what was the most fun you had on set? Well, we can back it up a little bit, and you can kind of go over what made this film fun for you.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, hanging out with Ariel, and since I already knew Ariel, like we were always like giggling on set, and like hanging out with Matt and Stephanie, even though I didn't really know them, they're still so much fun. Um, and even aside from that, just being on set with all these people, that like not even filming for me was the most fun part. Just being around this group of people who I explained this amazingly one time. I'm going to see if I have the exact words again. Being around these people who know what they want, and even if they can't exactly get what they want, they adjust it and still keep going no matter how hard like the situation is, and they're so invested in what they want, and so is like everyone else on set. Like we all know what we want to do it, we want to get there, we want to make this movie 100%. And even if it can't be at the 100% that we want to make it at 99.9, you know.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, tell me about when the movie was released. What kind of promotion did you guys have? Did you have any kind of lead up? Did you have a red carpet somewhere where you premiered the film? And tell me about that process.
Well, we had a huge premiere at this one theater. Can't remember the name of the theater off the top of my head. Um, but there was like the huge poster. We had our own theater for ourselves. We were able to invite family and friends.
Nice.
Um, it was amazing. I'm so grateful for that. And just seeing it on like a huge screen was crazy to me. But as far as like promotions go, we would promote on like our social media. We would go to conventions. We went to Spooky Empire
Hmm.
last year, and it was amazing. I had an amazing time at Spooky Empire that year. And we and they still go to a bunch of conventions to continue promoting the movie, but we had to reshoot a few scenes, so the movie is a little different from when we originally premiered the movie. So we had to reshoot that and like stop promotion for a little bit just so we can focus on reshoots and everything.
Right.
And from there, after we finished reshooting everything, then promotion continued and we got with Scream Team, and then they finally released the movie, and now they're pushing the movie out. They went to Spookala this year, like
Yeah.
2-3 days ago. Um and yeah, and I do my best to like promote it on Instagram, promote it on like my Twitter and everything. um I do my best to help promotion.
Oh yeah. Well, I love Scream Team releasing, and
Oh,
I've been a fan of them for quite a few years now. I go to conventions as well, not as many as Scream Team or anything. I'm a small town horror author, so I go peddle my books there. But every time I go to Days of the Dead in Atlanta, I go visit the Scream Team releasing book, and I have quite a few indie horror DVDs that they've produced and put out there. So I'm a little familiar with Scream Team releasing. Um, I had Justin Seaman, who did The Barn and The Barn 2. Don't know if you're familiar with those movies, but he was on the podcast earlier with one of his actresses that was in The Barn 2, Alice Winkler. So yeah, shout out to Scream Team releasing. Love their stuff. And that's how I found out about the Pumpkin Man. I got served an ad, and what really drew me, and I told this to Ryan last week, was the cover. The
oh,
cover is freaking incredible. I was like, even if the movie sucks, I'm gonna get it for that cover, you know? So I got an added bonus when I popped it in the DVD player, and it was a good movie. I was like, wow.
whoa, it's not just the cover.
It's not just the cover. So, yeah, it was a really good movie. So tell me about your convention experience. I love going to horror conventions, but usually when I go, I'm selling stuff, so I don't get to look around very much. Uh, did you get to meet a lot of people when you went to those? Did you sign some material, some DVD? I don't know if your DVD was out then. It probably wasn't. But tell me about your horror convention experiences.
That was Spooky Empire was my first horror convention. Um and I was so scared. It I loved it. Do not get me wrong. I loved Spooky Empire, but my heart would not stop racing the entire time because I was so scared like a zombie or something was gonna pop up behind me.
Well, you have a bunch of characters walking around. They're in cosplay and costumes.
Yeah, and so many of them were so impressive. I was
Oh yeah.
blown away. And Ryan was there walking around in the Pumpkin Man costume, and I'm like, wow, props, because it was so hot in there. I was dying of heat. Like,
Yeah.
so the fact that he was doing it on stilts, like, wow. We didn't have any like material to give out at that time. We went around to like booths and stuff to like tell people and promote our movie, and like, because it was also playing at the theater that day, and so we're like, hey, you should come see it. My favorite part of that convention. Um, there was an amazing actor. He was in Hypnotica, another indie film. Um, oh my gosh, why is his name blanking in my brain?
Well, I'm gonna write it down. You said Hypnotica, so I'm gonna check that out.
I'm 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 gonna remember his name. I know it's Adam. Adam something. Adam Johnson. Adam Johnson. He was an amazing, he is not was is an amazing actor, and I saw him in Hypnotica when we went to another film festival,
Right?
and he was there. And Adam Johnson is actually the brother of Troy Bolton's father from High School Musical,
Oh wow.
and he was there with his dad. I mean, he was there with his brother. Adam was there with his brother, and I'm like, no way I'm meeting Troy Bolton's dad right now. There is no way. So I met him, I shook his hand, and I'm like, I'm a big fan of yours. I'm a huge fan. And then Adam talked about the Pumpkin Man, and I'm like, there's no way the Pumpkin Man is being promoted to Troy Bolton's dad right now. I'm
Oh
melting.
wow. Wow. Well, that is super cool. So hopefully now that it's out and Scream Team has, hopefully they got a ton of these at their tables. Hopefully you'll get to go to a few of those and sign some DVDs and talk to some folks.
I hope
But
so. I'm excited for it.
well, horror conventions are awesome, and there are a lot of good people at those conventions. They're
Oh yeah.
genuine folks. They're just there to have a good time. You don't have a ton of troublemakers there. Every
Oh no.
once in a while you'll get a lemon, but most of them are nice, genuine, sweet folks who just want to be there for a couple of days, have fun, get some shit signed, and have a
100%.
good time. But
I was
yeah,
I was at a booth and there was this one woman and we were promoting the Pumpkin Man and she's like she saw me looking at her earrings and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, these are so cute" because they're little cats inside of pumpkins.
yep.
And she was just talking to me and she was so sweet and she gave me a discount on the earrings. I'm like, "You were so nice. This is not what I was expecting at all." Cuz like growing up horror, I have a little bit of I'm going to be honest, I have a little bit of trauma with horror. Not going to go into that.
Okay.
But I used to think like horror means like you're emo and you're mean and you're bad. But no, she
Uh,
was so sweet. And then I kept going around and everyone was so nice. I'm like,
yeah.
this relieved my trauma.
Yeah, well, generally speaking, most of the folks are cool. I mean, they'll come up to my table
Yeah.
and talk to me about the books, and some of them won't even buy a book. We just have a conversation about whatever, and but it's just nice to talk to a lot of those folks, and most of them are cool people, you know.
Heck yeah.
So, but awesome, awesome. All right, what else can you tell me about the Pumpkin Man? So, did you watch any of the, YouTube videos that were out there before you made your way to the set? Did you have an idea what you were getting into with the Pumpkin Man?
When I first auditioned, I had no idea there were any like shorts or anything about it. And then after when I first met Ryan, he was talking about how many like how he had shorts and how all these were based off of the shorts and how it was like a originally started in like a college project. Excuse me. And I was like, okay, I should do my research and kind of see like what I'm getting into.
Right.
So I watched his first 5 shorts before Pumpkin Man Demon of Fall. And I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. These are cool. Then I saw Pumpkin Man Demon of Fall. I'm like, wow, okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah,
I
that
love
was super
this.
impressive, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, this is I love Ryan, but it was definitely like an upgrade from his first 5 shorts. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it was another
mm,
level for sure.
another level. So I'm like, this is what I'm gonna work with. Heck yeah. So I knew the character in the original was Jenny, like in the Demon of Fall was Jenny. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be off of um Stephanie who plays Jenny, her character. So I'm like, okay, I'm my own character in a way.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play with it.
Well, I it is a horror movie, but and how do I wanna word this? I got a little bit of a Nancy Drew vibe from it too. Just just from the way you approach things, and again, that's a compliment. I thought it was amazing. So, what how was it for you as an actress to get that script, read the script, and say, "Hey, I'm gonna be kind of a detective in this film a little bit." How did that feel?
It honestly felt like honestly, I didn't think of it like as me being like a detective. I thought I was just like, oh, I'm a kid. I'm obsessed with this thing. I'm gonna go make some chaos.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the original vibe I got with the character. Because that's also honestly how I am in real life. I'm a little gremlin. um, but wow, now that you kind of bring that up, I was a detective. Wow, you kind of just popping these things into my brain, huh?
Well, that's kind of how I saw it. But yeah, you were definitely not taking no for an answer. Your character wasn't
Oh
taking no for an answer. No. Um,
no, I don't do that in real life. My character shouldn't.
that's that's true. That's true. But I thought that was you know, I just think he cast the right person. You did such a good job in that. So,
Thank
um,
you.
all right. I'm kind of running out of questions to ask. Is there anything you want to talk about? Is there anything you want to bring up about any experience on the Pumpkin Man or what you have, on the horizon? Kind of what you're working on.
Um, Let me think. Well, I know the Pumpkin Man 2 is up.
Well, I know
Nah,
there's a sequel. He said there was a sequel.
had a
Yeah, Ryan.
heart attack.
No. Ryan said there was a sequel. So yeah, just don't
Um,
give the script or the plot or anything. You'll be all right.
I
We all know
actually
there's a Pumpkin Man too.
okay, cool. I know the Pumpkin Man 2 is on the horizon. I'm very excited for them. I'm dead, so
Oh yeah, I know. But
yeah.
in horror
Um,
movies, you're not always dead.
you never know. You know. But I'm excited for them because they're starting pre-production on that, so I'm very excited for them for that. As far as for me, like I said, I'm working on a movie musical. I'm also a part of two other musicals at the moment. They are stage productions though. Um, but I'm very excited for both of those. Um, as far
What
as
can
for
you
me on the horizon, huh?
What can you share about the movie musical? Is it something you can talk about, or is it something that's still kind of can't really talk a lot about it yet?
I can kind of share. I can share some things.
Okay.
It is on the opposite side of horror. It is
Oh, it's
nowhere
fine.
near.
It is that is cool. We've had musicians on here. We talk about all kinds of stuff, so it's not pigeonholed the horror of the conversation.
um, so this movie musical is about cosplay. It is a Full Sail production. The college Full Sail here in Florida. Um, and we are actually, I found this out. This is a cool fact. Some of the music that we're recording is being recorded in the same studio that Michael Jackson recorded some of his music. So I'm like, wow,
Oh
that
wow.
is crazy. But basically the musical is about someone who grew up loving anime, loving manga, loving cosplay. They dropped it because of a girl. It's always because of a girl. And later he's like what, 20 something, 25. He has a job. His friend gets him to join his anime club. I am one of the members of the anime club. My name is Ida. I'm more of a gremlin than I am in real life, and that's saying a lot. um and basically it's their adventure going to a convention and trying to like get the girl, you know.
Gotcha. Well, that sounds cool. I would I support the creative folks that I have on the podcast, and I like to see what they're up to. So when that film drops, when that movie comes out, I'll definitely check it out.
Thank you so
If
much.
you let me know what platform it's going to be on, we'll share it with the people that listen to my stuff because, like I said, it is a horror podcast, but we talk about more than just horror. Um, so where can my listeners, and you've got a whole lot, you've got a lot more followers than I have for sure. So where can our listeners find you out in the social media world? Where can we find Barbie Dessa?
You can find me on TikTok, Barbara.Dessa. You can find me on Instagram, same handle, Barbara.Dessa. I do have a YouTube channel. I haven't used it in a long time. Uh, just look up Barbara Dessa. I'm the first thing you see. And same thing with my Twitter. Those are my main four social media handles.
Okay, cool. Well, that'll unless you have anything else, that'll wrap up this week's edition of Horror 421, the podcast. Barbie, I really appreciate you coming on. This movie was amazing. Guys, go to screamteamreleasing.com. It's the perfect season for it. We're in October. It's not October 31st yet. You don't have any excuses. Go get this movie, check it out, watch it. It's going to be in my Halloween rotation for sure. So make sure you go pick up a copy of The Pumpkin Man, starring Barbara Dessa. What?
Thank
What?
you so much for having me.
Exactly. Oh, you're very welcome. And I am a small town horror author. My name is Charles Campbell. If you didn't already know, you should because you listened to this podcast today. But I have a brand new book out called The Piano Witch. And you can pick it up at valleyboypublications.com. I will sign it, I will ship it, and I hope you enjoy it. The cover was done by my very talented artist friend, John Stoney Cannon. Shout out to John. But the Piano Witch, ooh, that's some scary shit right here. But anyway, you guys can find me at valleyboypublications.com. I have a Facebook page, Horror 421 the podcast. I also host a musicians only podcast called Backstage 421. So if you're into music, go check it out. And that's all I got today. Thank you again, Barbara, for being on the show.
Thank you.
And you guys have a great rest of your day, week, weekend, and we'll catch you next time on Horror 421, the podcast.
We hope you had a horrific time, lovelies. Thank you for tuning in to Horror 421, the podcast. Be sure to like us on YouTube and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.